just called the Serpent.
No longer underwater.
Why is that creature in the bay?
No one knows. He just appeared one day. Soon after, Thor attacked, and their battle could be felt across all the realms. Ultimately, it ended in a stalemate, and Thor returned to Odin empty-handed. The Serpent stayed and grew so large, he now spans all of Midgard.
See? Told you.
They've hated each other ever since, destined to kill each other come Ragnarok.
You believe in Ragnarok?
I dearly wish I didn't, child.
Boy? Well done, boy!
What else did the Serpent tell you when he spoke? Kinda sounded important.
I'm sure it's nothing. He just said the boy seemed familiar to him.
Me? That's impossible.
Well, I quite agree. Unless, perhaps, he refers to something yet to be. It is said that when Jormungandr and Thor battle at Ragnarok, their clash so violently shakes the tree of life that it splinters, casting the Serpent backward through time, even before his own birth.
What?
That is madness.
Well, I did say not to concern yourself.
We're so close to the end now.
Yes. Yes, we are.
So, before this video gets started, who blew the horn? That is a very important question. And also, who is the world serpent, or Midgard serpent, that Thor had 3 independent fights with, but kept going back to Odin? So, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the God of War theory videos up into the run-in of God of War PS5, aka God of War 5, which we know isn't really the 5th God of War, but a lot of people seem to think it is. So, at the 100,000 subscriber mark, I will be giving away something pretty darn cool. So before the video started, I would have played the horn being blue, which is very important overall to the God of War, as Cory Barlow, who is Mr. God of War himself, the creative director of Santa Monica Studios, responded to a fan on Twitter June the 30th, 2018, so over 2 years ago nearly, when someone tagged Cory Barlow in a post said, "Who blew the horn to call the Serpent when Kratos was talking to Atreus, to Freya, friend and I, our discussion?" And Cory Barlow said this: "Just kidding. Who do you think blew the horn? I'll never tell you until, of course, I do." But then it got even more interesting. It was almost like he's telling you that this is a pinnacle part of his franchise going forward. Now, a Twitter user said this: "Could it be Atreus from the future? Or his wife from the future?" Then he responds, you got to understand, he's a verified user. He's got hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers, must get tagged in a lot of stuff. But he's gone out of his way to say the following: "Oh, we will find out just in another story." So that obviously means God of War PS5 or God of War 5. We're going to find out. Now, why am I talking about this? Because I want to do more content like this. But what is interesting is obviously the World Serpent is linked to this. So I played a clip of Freya talking about Thor's fight with the World Serpent and how and why the World Serpent appeared in Midgard randomly. Then we played the clip of, you know, the fantastic boy himself calling the World Serpent. Just call him out to help him, like instantly summons him, almost like he's a Pokemon or something. Then we get a clip of Mimir saying that he knows Atreus, or at least he has met Atreus before, or at least he is familiar. And then the next clip I played before the video started was right at the end, where they're just about to shatter the ashes and the mission is over. We see a picture in the Loki building of Atreus, aka Loki, and Kratos looking like they are both being eaten by the world serpent? Maybe, but no. So there's a big theory on the internet that Kratos is the world serpent. Now, I find this ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but it is rather funny. The only thing that kind of makes this viable would be if you compare Kratos' face to the world serpent, there are some similarities. You know, they've got the red in the middle, the eyes kind of look the same. I mean, the world serpent has even got a beard like Kratos. But then again, Mimir seems there's a lot of beards in this time. So I don't really think that is kind of any clarification of Kratos being the world serpent. So in Norse mythology, Norse, N-O-R-S-E, before you guys say I said it wrong, Norse mythology, the world serpent is actually one of Loki's children. But Warstu, this can't happen yet. Yeah, I know it can't happen, but obviously we are in a time loop that sent the world serpent from the future back to before the world serpent was actually created. So he's not in his own timeline. And that is how he can recognize Atreus before Atreus even knew that he's Loki. So it is interesting how he ended up in the Lake of the Nine. And it all happened because of essentially the World Tree and Mimir, which is interesting. So later on in the story, Mimir translates the World Serpent's tongue and alludes to essentially the World Serpent knows Atreus, aka Loki. And that is why a lot of people seem to think when they play the game that the World Serpent is Atreus. We don't know. Right? To me, that literally makes no sense. But we do know Santa Monica Studios, all the way in America mainly, like to change the mythos slightly. Now, according to the mythos, Loki's 3 children will bring destruction upon the world, as we know, which is interesting. So, Fenrir, a giant wolf. Hel, a woman and half death. And then obviously, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the world serpent's real name because I'll just get butchered. Will kill Thor, whilst Fenrir will kill Odin. But I seem to think none of this is going to happen because they want this franchise to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So I don't think that's going to happen. So the world serpent is a crazy big snake. And it resides in the Lake of the Nine in Midgard. He is said to be so big that he could literally surround the entire world. He is one of the last living giants and speaks in the giant's tongue. So whoever blew the horn, a lot of people think it's future Atreus. They would have to know the tongue, which would mean Atreus technically would know that, but he's a sworn enemy of Thor. And when Ragnarok comes around, Thor and the world serpent are doomed to fight to the death. Now I will leave a link down below for you guys to read. Essentially, it is the mythos of each fight they had. It states they had 3 massive fights, with the last fight being fatal and causing the apocalyptic battle of Ragnarok. So I leave that there for your interpretation. I don't think that Kratos is the world serpent, although I do think it is someone from the future, so to speak. But it is pretty interesting who blew the horn. Because as we said before in this video, you would have to know the tongue. It's probably going to be a character we have not been introduced to. Heimdal can see everything, hear everything, and he would make the most sense. This makes sense to why Mimir is the one to blow it. And that makes everyone seem to think that if it isn't future Atreus, it's gonna have to be Heimdal. So remember, Corey Barlow saying the one who blew the horn was someone who was watching Kratos and the boy. Heimdal fits this perfectly because he can see everything. And he is the one who triggered and kept watching for when Fimbulwinter Ragnarok came around. So now we know the events at the end of the game have been triggered in place. The mythos or mythology says Heimdal will blow the horn to awaken the gods to prepare for the fight that is coming. I think at this point, Heimdal is going to be the one to transpire everything and is calling all the gods in for action. Now, this does not mean that Kratos is going to die as the prophecy states, because let's be honest, guys, a lot of the fans would be really annoyed if that was to happen. They really would. So is Kratos the world serpent? I don't know. Who blew the horn? I'm going to say Heimdal. I don't think it's going to be any of Thor's sons, because Thor didn't really like his sons. He treated them quite badly. Now, why Thor comes at the end of God of War PS5, we don't really know. A lot of people, conspiracy theories, seem to think it's because essentially Kratos killed a bunch of people. I don't think that's the case. Some people seem to think that Boulder will come back. Now, I guess there is a way for Freya to bring him back. Technically, there is a way, but I still don't think that makes any sense. So this is just a short, informative video of what's going on with World Serpent. I do believe it could be Kratos, but it being an older Atreus in a way, future Atreus, or one of Atreus's kids, aka one of Loki's kids, that would make a lot more sense. And Heimdal could be the one that blew the horn, but if we go back to Corey Barlow's comments, we will find out just in another story, and Corey Barlow isn't the kind of person to smack talk something when it comes to his video game, because he's gone on record saying it, and he'll get called out for it if we don't ever find out. But it being his future wife is potentially interesting. Future Atreus, but then would Atreus recognize Atreus? Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you want me to do next in this God of War PS5, God of War PS4 theory going forward to the next game. Obviously, whenever it's revealed, I'll be on it straight away. Make sure to check out all the other God of War videos we've done and all the gaming videos we've done. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya.